Okay, so I'm going to show you how to reassemble everything right now. Here we have the left-sided muffler that I was working on, and as you know, I already took out the fiberglass packing, that long string. So we're now going to just reassemble it. If you look inside the muffler, it does have this heat-proof fabric, which is still left inside, but the packing is all gone. So I'm not going to remove that because I want the heat-proof packing to remain. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with, you'll notice that there's an inner tube here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this packing between the exhaust outer edge and the inner tube. And I'm just going to fold it in there so it goes back into the end of the exhaust. You don't need to be too exact or too perfect with this. I'm just going to fold it in there so it'll be easier to get the cap in. Okay, that's pretty much it. And now what I'm going to do is we have our cap from before, and you'll notice that one side of the cap is a little bit, in terms of the distance from the edge, is narrower, and so we want to make sure that we match that up with the inside here. You do want to be careful that the round hole goes around the baffle, so you want to match that up so it doesn't start banging into the baffle. There we go. It just takes a little bit of maneuvering, but you'll get in there. Once you have it lined up pretty well, all you're going to do is leave that there, turn it upside down, and then on a soft surface, I have basically a towel down here over the concrete. You'll lightly tap it in. Just go slowly, don't try to do it in one hit, but just go gently and slowly tap it back into the exhaust. You'll see I'm doing that here. Just show you the progress a little bit. Again, lined up, make sure all the holes are somewhat lined up. And as you're tapping it in, just go slowly and look at your progress so that you're making sure that the holes are all lined up and you don't tap it too hard. You can see we're almost there. Okay, I'm done tapping, and if you look closely, you'll see that it's all the way flush and that the holes are aligned. Okay, so that is the first step. The next step we're going to do is we are now going to put the carbon tip back on. Stand by 1 second. Here we have our carbon tip, and look at it closely because there is a left and right side. One side, the hole will be closer to the edge and further from the other side. You don't want to get that mixed up and try and get this into the wrong side. So you will just want to make sure it's lined up properly. Again, on the exhaust, you'll see that one side is closer to the edge than the other. Let me zoom out a little bit there. There we go. And you'll get this tip and you'll make sure that it's in the proper location. So this would be the proper placement for it. You'll see if I turn this the other way around, that is the wrong location, and you'll get into some difficulty trying to get that in. So now that we have this as the proper location, we're going to tap that on the same way we got the cap on, just by putting it on a surface covered with a towel and lightly tap that in. There we go. I'll give you a view of that. You'll see it's getting in there pretty nicely, but we'll just go slow. So just go slowly, measure your progress, and when the holes are all lined up, you stop tapping. And so there we're good. We now have the carbon fiber tip back in place. So now we're going to place that silver band as well as start riveting. So stand by 1 second. Okay, so now I'm ready to put it all back together. I have the silver bands here that came originally. I also have some rivets. These are aluminum rivets. I got the black ones because I wanted the contrast of the black rivets on the silver aluminum band. And what you're using is the 3/16 inch one. In this case, I'm using the 3/16 inch by 1/2. 1/2 referring to the length of the rivet, because that'll go through the holes that we want to go through to the depth that we need. It doesn't really matter which rivet you use. I just happen to get this one from Amazon. You're going to need 6 of these rivets, and of course the rivet tool that I showed in part 1. I just happened to get this one on Amazon. I think it was maybe $30. So the way you're going to start is there is a top and a bottom, this being the top of the exhaust, and then this being the bottom of the exhaust. You want the band of the rivet to attach when they link up on the bottom, because you don't want that to be visible. And so we'll start with putting a rivet on the top. You'll notice I put some blue painter's tape here on the exhaust just to protect the exhaust finish, because you don't want to slip with the rivet gun and accidentally hit the exhaust and scratch the finish. So first, what you'll do before you put any rivets, you're going to just make sure that you're in the right location. Make sure that the holes match up. So as I'm looking this going around, this is a match for the holes, and I'll start with this top rivet right there. I'm just going to take one of the rivets, place it in the hole, line it up, and then start the rivet gun. Before it gets tight, you want to make sure everything's lined up properly. And lined up and broke off, and that's exactly what we want. So that's a tight rivet right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work myself around, placing a rivet in each one, and as I get to the last rivet, I'm going to tighten this down and pull it in and place the last rivet on the bottom. Stand by as I start doing the same thing with the other rivets. Okay, so I worked myself around and I installed other rivets down to the last one. I'm sorry, I forgot to film putting this last one in. So what'll help you as you do the last two, these last connecting rivet will stay apart. I did get myself a wrench here. I forget what kind of wrench you call this, but I set it up because there are 2 tabs here that you can use to grab to pull in this clamp. And so I just set it up where I pulled it in and locked it in place, and then I used the rivet gun to apply the last rivet. And that way I made sure it was tight. the band was tight against the side of the carbon fiber exhaust. Pretty easy to do. You just have to find the right tension and lock it in place, and you see it'll just stay there pretty easily. And then that's when you get the rivet gun, you apply that last rivet. And then that way again, when you do that, the band will lay flush against the carbon fiber tip, and you are now done. This exhaust is now reassembled and ready to go on your CVO or any other touring bike. You're going to do the exact same thing with the right exhaust. I'll do that as well. I don't need to film that because it's the exact same thing. The only difference with the right-hand exhaust is I won't be pulling off the fiberglass wrapping. Okay, so I hope this tutorial was helpful and showed you how to disassemble and take out the fiberglass packing as well as the restrictors. I will do another video showing exactly how to, after I mount it, showing the sound comparison. Thank you so much.